Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're really digging into something ancient but wow, incredibly relevant. We're looking at the book of Job, specifically chapter 30.
It's a tough chapter, but so important.
It really is. Our mission for this deep dive is basically to explore this incredibly raw, unfiltered human experience of suffering
Mm.
and humiliation, frankly.
Yeah, it doesn't hold back.
Not at all. And then the idea is to pull out some powerful, timeless wisdom from it, stuff we can totally apply to our modern lives.
Absolutely. Connect the ancient struggles to our own reality.
Exactly. And you might be surprised, maybe, at the insights that pop up, especially how they can genuinely strengthen our faith and, encourage obedience in our day-to-day. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So just to set the scene, in the chapters before this, Job was, he was on top of the world, right? Huge honor, respect, admiration.
A real pillar of the community. Everyone looked up to him.
Totally. But then Job 30 hits, and it's just this gut-wrenching turn. The whole tone shifts. It's stark.
It's like night and day compared to his former life.
Yeah. Job, this revered elder, starts lamenting his, total downfall. He's not just fallen. He's actively mocked, derided.
And by people he considered, beneath contempt almost.
Right. He says they're people younger than him, individuals whose fathers he wouldn't have even put with the dogs guarding his sheep. Can you even imagine that?
That level of disdain is just staggering. It paints such a vivid picture of how far he felt he'd fallen.
And it's not just random young people. He describes them as, total outcasts themselves.
Right. Solitary, fleeing into the wilderness.
Eating roots and mallows just to survive. Living in caves among nettles. He calls them children of fools, children of base men.
Even viler than the earth. It's harsh language.
Extremely harsh.
Yeah.
Yet these are the people who now make Job their song, their byword. They hate him, they run from him.
And then the ultimate insult.
Yeah, they spare not to spit in my face, which back then wasn't just rude.
Oh no, it was a profound public act of degradation, designed to strip every last shred of dignity.
A symbolic annihilation of who he was. For this man, once so revered, to face that from them. The psychological blow is almost unimaginable.
It truly is. But the pain isn't just external, is it?
No, not at all. He feels like God himself is involved. He says God has loosed my cord and afflicted me.
Like God has untied the restraints, allowing this to happen, allowing these youths to rise against him.
Exactly. To mar my path, push forward his calamity. It's this deep sense of divine betrayal, like God's actively working against him.
Which must be the most agonizing part, in a way.
I think so. And then there's the physical suffering piled on top. It's relentless.
He describes it so vividly, bones being pierced at night.
Sinews taking no rest. His skin turning black on him, bones burning with heat.
His clothes are changed by the force of the disease, like it's consuming him.
Yeah, and he feels cast into the mud, becoming like dust and ashes, just completely broken down physically.
And spiritually, emotionally, just as devastated.
Oh, absolutely. He cries out, I cry unto thee, and thou dost not hear me. I stand up, and thou regardest me not.
That's silence from God.
It's crushing. He feels God has become cruel, using a strong hand to oppose him. He's convinced God is just leading him to death.
His soul is poured out, he says. Unrelenting sorrow.
It's just an almost unbearable picture of total despair. Body, mind, spirit unraveling.
It really is hard to fully grasp that level of anguish.
Yeah. But here's where it gets really interesting. What immediately resonates with you from this ancient, raw account? How does it still speak?
Well, it's exactly that rawness, that universal human experience that makes Job's lament so incredibly powerful even thousands of years later. What's fascinating here is how these ancient words describing this really multi-layered suffering hit on timeless truths.
Okay, like what?
First, his story just screams that loss often leads to social exile, a kind of silent banishment.
Explain that a bit more.
Think about it. When someone goes through something devastating, maybe they lose their job, get a terrible diagnosis, face public shame, or even just get old, what often happens?
People sometimes disappear.
Yeah.
Or get awkward.
Exactly. Well-meaning friends, even family, they just don't know how to react. They might pull back because they're uncomfortable, or they just don't know what to do or say.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Job's experiences that, but magnified intensely. His whole social world crumbles. The people who admired him are gone, replaced by mockers who spit on him.
Wow.
It highlights this really uncomfortable, timeless truth. Suffering, especially public suffering, can make us invisible or even repulsive to the very people who once looked up to us. He didn't just lose his stuff, he lost his place. his belonging.
That's a really powerful point. It's not just the loss itself, but the relational fallout that can be so crushing. Makes you think about how we react to other struggles.
It really does. And second, Job's story shows clearly how suffering fundamentally challenges our perception of God.
How so? He still believes in God, bro.
Oh, absolutely. He never doubts God's existence or power, but he cannot reconcile God's supposed justice and goodness with his silence, his seeming abandonment.
I cry unto thee, and thou dost not hear me.
Precisely. And the crucial thing to grasp here is that this wrestling, this honest questioning, even his accusations, it's not presented as rebellion.
It isn't.
No, it's shown as a profound kind of deep faith, a desperate reaching for understanding from the only one he knows ultimately holds the answers. He's grappling with God, not walking away.
That's a huge distinction.
Oh, yeah.
Many people feel like anger or doubt towards God means their faith is weak.
Right, but Job suggests it can actually be an expression of faith, a refusal to accept easy answers when facing hard realities.
Interesting.
And that leads to the third point. Grief isn't always rational, and that's profoundly okay.
Eating.
Job's lament is messy. It's emotional, desperate, all over the place. He pours out every single painful detail, every feeling of betrayal, every accusation. There's no filter.
It's raw.
And the really powerful insight is that God never rebukes Job for this raw honesty, not once in the whole book for the lament itself.
So the takeaway is?
It signifies that honest lament, even when it feels irrational or angry or accusatory, is a valid, acceptable part of faith. It's not a failure. It's permission to bring our whole broken, messy selves to God. He can handle our anger, our questions, our pain.
Wow, that's liberating.
It really is. And finally, Job's downfall is just this stark reminder that reputation is fragile and human praise is fleeting.
From respected elder to object of scorn.
Exactly. By those he considered viler than the earth. What people cheer for today, they might jeer at tomorrow. Earthly honor, status, what people think of you, it's built on sand.
So true.
This ancient wisdom really pushes us to find our values somewhere deeper, somewhere that doesn't depend on shifting opinions or circumstances.
Okay, these are powerful points drawn from Job's anguish. So let's pivot. What does this all mean for us today? How do we take this ancient suffering and translate it into, practical ways to strengthen our faith and guide our actions, our obedience right now?
Right. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Job's experience offers some incredibly potent applications for us right now. Ways to genuinely strengthen our faith and encourage obedience in tangible ways.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, and this comes straight from seeing how Job was treated, don't dismiss or avoid those who are suffering.
Even when it's uncomfortable.
Especially when it's uncomfortable. Remember, Job was mocked and shunned by those considered the lowest of the low. When someone we know is going through hell, maybe their career implodes, they get seriously ill, face public shame, they might lose status, they might look rough, they might be difficult company.
Yeah.
But their inherent value hasn't changed one bit. Job's story calls us to a vital form of obedience. The command to love and show compassion, to be the kind of friend Job needed, not the kind who vanished or judged.
So it's about actively choosing compassion.
Yes, and that choice, that action, strengthens our own faith because we're living out its core command.
That's really practical.
Second, let people express their pain without trying to immediately fix it.
The fixing impulse. So common.
Isn't it? Job's words were raw, unfiltered, accusatory. He wasn't polite about his pain. This teaches us to just allow space for others to lament, to grieve, to question, without jumping in with corrections, platitudes, or easy answers.
They're often not helpful anyway.
Rarely. Sometimes the most loving thing is just to listen, to validate their pain, to sit with them in it. This fosters real, empathetic communities where people feel safe enough to be vulnerable, and that strengthens faith, both ours and theirs, by embracing authenticity.
Being a safe space for lament. I like that.
Third, and this one is huge in our culture, don't build your identity on status or applause.
Easier said than done.
Oh, absolutely. But if your sense of self-worth is tied up in your job title, how you look, your social media likes, what people think of you, you're setting yourself up for a crushing fall when those things inevitably change or disappear.
Like they did for Job overnight.
Precisely. Job's story encourages a deeper kind of obedience, not just following rules, but aligning our core identity with something unshakable. Obeying the principle that our true worth comes from God, not from external validation.
So finding worth internally, or rather, in God.
Exactly. And making that shift is an act of faith, and it strengthens that faith by rooting our identity where it truly belongs. It frees us.
That makes sense. It's a constant battle, though.
It is. Fourth point, silence doesn't equal absence.
This is key, because Job felt totally abandoned by a silent God.
He did, and many of us go through seasons like that where God feels distant, silent, unresponsive during hard times. But Job's story, when you look at the whole book, not just chapter 30.
Right, there's more to come after this low point.
Yes, it reminds us that even when God is silent, he is still present. He hasn't checked out. This insight is profoundly faith-strengthening. It encourages trust in his presence and his larger plan, even when we can't hear his voice or understand his ways.
And that trust encourages obedience, too.
Definitely. Obedience to keep seeking him, keep praying, keep trusting through those dry spells, knowing his presence transcends our feelings or immediate understanding.
Okay, one more.
Yes, finally. Honor the emotional side of faith.
Meaning, it's okay to not be okay.
Exactly. Faith isn't just intellectual assent or theological correctness. It's deeply emotional, feeling overwhelmed, heartbroken, angry, confused, deep in a dark place. None of that makes you less spiritual.
Job certainly felt all those things.
Intensely. And his raw honesty shows us that God can handle it. He can handle our grief, our rage, our doubts, our despair. Understanding this strengthens faith by allowing us to be whole and authentic in our relationship with God.
No need to pretend.
None. And it encourages obedience in the sense of bringing all of ourselves, emotions included, raw and unfiltered, before him, knowing he can bear that weight without condemning us.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot of powerful wisdom drawn from such intense suffering. It's incredible how Job's complete humiliation and despair can actually teach us so much about resilience, about honest lament, and about God's presence, even in silence.
It's a testament to the depth of the text.
It really is. This deep dive into Job 30, it really helps frame how we can navigate our own hard times with maybe a deeper spiritual conviction and a more responsive, compassionate heart.
Hopefully so.
This raises an important question for you, listening right now. Have you ever felt like Job may be mocked, misunderstood, or abandoned during a really hard time? And thinking about these insights, how can you practically support someone else going through that kind of suffering today? How can you be the friend Job needed? And perhaps most importantly, what does Job's story teach you about persevering in faith, even and especially when God seems utterly silent?
Powerful questions to reflect on.
Definitely something to mull over. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope these insights empower you to keep exploring and applying this timeless wisdom to your modern life.